Hi there. Today I'm here to talk to you about Algebra I word problems. We're going to specifically talk about linear functions, which might not make a lot of sense to you right now, but that's okay. The book that I'm getting these problems from is by Foerster, Paul A. Foerster, and we're going to talk about Lesson 7-10. That would be Chapter 7 and Lesson 10. The first problem I'm going to talk about is problem number 2, which is a scuba diving problem. If you have the book in front of you, you can read it. Otherwise, I will read it out loud to you now. It says, a scuba diving resort hotel offers divers two plans. Plan A gives 3 nights lodging and four dives. So we have 3 nights lodging and 4 dives. Plan B gives 5 nights lodging and 8 dives. Okay, so 5 nights lodging and 8 dives. We are supposed to let X be the number of dollars they charge per night. So it's X is going to be the dollars per night. And Y is going to be the dollars per dive. Okay. Write 2 expressions, one for the amount you would pay for Plan A, and the other you will pay for Plan B. So what I'm really looking for when I'm trying to solve these problems is to find that pattern. Math is all about using a pattern that you can use over and over again so that you can solve a problem. Now in this case, I know X is going to be the dollars per night, and for Plan A, I'm going to have 3 nights of lodging. So if it's X dollars per night, one night, if I paid $10 per night, then it would be a total of $30 because we're going to have 3 nights lodging. If I paid $20 per night, how much would I pay just for the lodging in part A? Hopefully you said $60. And if you look at that pattern enough, you will figure out that the total amount that you're going to spend for lodging is going to be the number of nights of lodging times the number of dollars per night that you are being charged. So in this case, the lodging is going to cost 3x. And for 4 dives, we know that each dive is going to cost a total of y dollars per dive. Same pattern that I'm looking at. I'm looking at the amount per dive times the number of dives, so that would be 4y. So for Plan A, I need to pay a total of 3x plus 4y. Same logic comes for Plan B. So I'm going to let you stop this video and go back and try to figure out what expression you should use to figure out the total amount for Plan B. So go ahead and stop right now. Okay, so now we're continuing on, and hopefully you figured out that the total that we're going to spend on B is going to be the 5 nights of lodging times X dollars per night and 8 dives times y dollars per dive. So B is going to be 5x plus 8y. The problem states, again, to write 2 expressions, one for the amount that you would pay for Plan A, which is right here, and one for the amount that you would pay for Plan B, which is right here. So you've done that. That's the first question. The second thing says, letter B, says to evaluate the expression in Part A if lodging is $50 per night and dives are $40 each. So now we're going to say that X is actually $50 per night. Sounds like the kind of hotel that would be pretty inexpensive, especially if we're talking about diving vacations. And the next part, the dives are going to be $40 for each dive. Well, to figure out how much you would spend on the first plan, you would just let X be 50 and Y be 40. So you'll have, for Plan A, it's going to be 3 times 50 plus 4 times 40, which is 150 plus 160 or $310 total. All right? For part B, or plan B, you would do the same thing, only this time we're going to stay for 5 nights and have 8 dives. So 5 times 50 plus 8 times 40. 250 plus 320 is going to give you a total of $550 for your bill. All right? Now they're saying, oh, sorry, part C, it says the lodging is going to increase to $80 a night, and the dives are increasing, oh, they're reducing. They're going down to $20 a night. So now, which is the better deal? So our total, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I'd gone off the screen there. I'm so sorry. So that makes our total for A change. A is now going to be 3 times 80, and B, the dives are going to be 20, so that's 4 times 20. So that gives you 240 plus 80. Now the total is $320. So for Plan A, that did not make your bill any better. In fact, it made it a little bit worse. Let's look for Plan B. B says that we're going to have 5 nights at $80 plus 8 dives at $20. Is this one going to go up, or is this one going to go down? So now we have $400 for the lodging plus $160 for the dives, and that's going to give you a total of $560. Again, so again, it's just $10 more, just like the Plan A was $10 more. But spread over 5 nights, this seems like not a bad deal. Okay, so let's move along. One last question. It says, a new price list comes out in which Plan A costs $440. I'm going to leave this here on the screen so we can see that our work here. Plan A is now going to cost a total of $440, and B is going to cost a total of $780. Now we need to figure out what X and Y are going to be based off of this. So let's remember that A is equal to 3X plus 4Y, and B is equal to 5X plus 8Y. Now, since we know that the total is $440, we can rewrite that. So instead of A down here, we can write that $440. We have $440 equals 3X plus 4Y. And same thing on the second one, $780 is going to equal 5X plus 8Y. Now we have a system of equations with 2 variables, X and Y, and we can go ahead and solve for those, just like we would in any of the other systems of equations problems that we've been talking about so far in Chapter 7. So there are 3 ways that we can solve a system of equations. The first way we can solve is by graphing. And hopefully you have realized that graphing isn't a great way to solve systems of equations, because sometimes, especially if you end up with a decimal answer that isn't exactly on your grid, it can be really hard to figure out what the exact answer is going to be. So graphing is typically not any student's favorite way of solving for systems of equations. Our second method of solving for systems of equations is by using substitution. And you hopefully remember that for substitution, you are going to get one of your variables all by itself, isolated on one side of the equal sign, and then substitute in the other equation where that variable is, with that entire thing that the variable is equal to. And sometimes that is a really easy way to find your solution. The third way is elimination, where you're going to try to multiply one of your equations or both of your equations by an integer so that you can easily eliminate one of your variables. You might know linear elimination by another name, which is linear combination. Linear combination or elimination. Those mean the same things. And in this case, elimination is probably the easiest way to go about this. So if I look right here, I can see that I've got 4y, and in the other equation I have 8y. So if I multiply this top equation by a -2, I will get -880 equals -6x minus 8y. Now this equation means exactly the same as the top equation. However, now, because I multiplied the entire thing by -2, when I add these together, I'm going to have 8y minus 8y, which gives 0. So that those y's have completely canceled out on the right-hand side of the equation. Now if I add these together, I get a -100 equals -x, because 5 minus 6 is -1. So 5x minus 6x will be a -x, which means x is equal to 100. Now remember from our other work, x means the number of dollars per night of lodging that we're going to be spending. So now we know that it's going to be $100 per night of lodging. That's part of what we were supposed to figure out. Now the other part that we're supposed to figure out is how much it's going to be charged for a single dive, and that's y. So we need to substitute our x back into one of these equations, one of our original equations, and get y by itself. So I'm just going to take this equation here, which is the one that we started with before we multiplied by a -2 for the elimination process. 440 equals 3 times x, but remember, we know x is 100. So 3 times 100, it's the same thing as 3 times x, plus 4y. Okay? So now 440, using our algebra skills, is going to equal 300 plus 4y, or 140, if we subtract 300 from both sides, equals 4y. And if I divide both sides by 4, y equals 140 divided by 4. Well, 140 divided by 4 is $35. So it's going to be $35 per night, or no, sorry, not per night, but this is per dive. And that is the new fee structure of the resort. All right? So that is one way that we can solve for word problems. Now the big thing in here is to set up the equations to start with. Once you get those equations set up, it's really not so bad to go through and just solve the algebra. The algebra is pretty simple. But just remember that if you know the rate of one thing, in this case that's one of the things that we're trying to find out, the rate, you multiply it by the units of how many of those sorts of things you're going to purchase, you're going to find the total for that part of the bill. We use this pattern over and over and over again. Okay? So it's very similar to the rate times time equals distance. Some people like to call it DIRT. Rate times time equals this distance. In this case, our x was that, was the rate. Sorry about the phone. And our time was the number of units purchased. In this case, the number of nights or the number of dives. And that will give us the total work or the total distance or the total amount of money that we're going to get charged for that part of the bill. Okay? I hope that helps. We'll try another one in a minute.